All right, let's just jump into it. Let's see.
Back, guys, we've got a quick channel update before we get to the news, before the main topic. Because yesterday, something terrible happened. In the comment section of my own video, I
Oh.
saw people laughing at me, making fun of my pronunciation of the word inclusivity. Well, at least I hope I'm saying it right now, and thanks, I guess, for the correction. Not sure how I can ever repay you guys, but you have my thanks. Now, on to the main topic. So, do you remember that situation I talked about the other day with that DEI defending influencer who also like worked at Xbox or something? Well, we've got a very
Yep.
amusing update on that situation. Also, quick side note, it turns out Asmongold reacted to that video. That was pretty cool. Glad he enjoyed that one. So, really quick, this was the context. She made this thread all upset about the discourse. The discourse being gamers criticizing companies in gaming and also criticizing DEI console.
DI consulting companies don't bully studios into changing creative direction. They act as resources to help creators portray a lived experience. The Northman is an example of this. Wait, isn't The Northman a movie?
Consultation companies, all of that being something that, once again, she seems very upset about. In my coverage, I gave a reasonable response and provided evidence as to why a number of her points are just wrong. The rest of her thread was her devolving into just a barrage of insult attempts that completely flopped because it really just made her look extremely petty, and many
Yeah.
people said that she just sounded like she was projecting. At the very least, it was fortunately
It's always production. Always, always, always.
amusing seeing her go all rage mode though. Provided some decent entertainment for the day. So yeah, that's just some very quick context for anyone who may have missed the prior segment, although of course if you want to see my full take, consider watching that for yourself. But now with that context, let's move on to the aforementioned update. We've got Thomas Mahler here saying, I'm the director behind both Ori games and I don't know who you are and how you were affiliated with Ori. In response to that Ray person saying, hey new folks, I'm Ray. I work in the gaming industry in UX
Independent media producer had flipped to working with internationals.
R&D plus game production. I worked on various software and hardware for Xbox. I now work as an independent media producer and had the privilege of working on the Dota Internationals 2023 and other gaming media projects. But importantly for this context,
I haven't actually seen the version I see, her like tweets deleted or something. So I guess he must have gotten it before that.
the bottom left image showing Ori. Given the timing of how he's saying this now, I can only presume he just recently saw her unhinged rant. Okay, so get this. As I'm looking at this conversation and recording this video, I see that she's actually just protected her entire
Yep.
Twitter account. That's going to make covering this a little bit more complicated because as you can see, it's also affecting her responses and we're now unable to see them. However, I've got a tab that has not yet refreshed, so while we won't be able to see all of her responses, we can at least see some of them. It looks like she responded to him saying, I worked with Xbox User Research. I was the URA for global publishing during 2018 to 2020. Nice to meet you. I also worked on various other titles during my time there, but got a better job opportunity on the Xbox community team. You've got to be kidding me.
Mm.
Why do we see so many community managers or like community team people who are some of the most unhinged and like angry at everything? It's
Well, I mean, I just feel like the higher ups. It could just be like a Godot situation where the higher ups just agree with them, honestly. Because I feel like if you had tweets that were like if they didn't agree with the tweets, the people would not have these positions, you know? Like they would do some level of background check that they would know if the tweets go against what they want to portray, you know?
seriously becoming a recurring theme. Anyways, that wasn't the only response that she made to him, because there's also this one where she said, oh, I have a question for you. Do you ever at any point feel Microsoft has shoved DEI expectations at you
Oh, she actually asked this question. Interesting.
or pressured you? Now she's reminding me of that Nat person from Godot, where after Asmongold gave a kind response, she then tried to get him in some sort of gotcha. It's funny how these people
And making content based off other people's drama is not really doing anything good for the world. I know you won't agree, but hey, I made you read it. Based off, that's a weird thing to say. Not really doing anything. Like what is, like, how do you measure good for the world? Because clearly a lot of people watch Asmongold's thing and they come away like, I guess, liking the video. So I guess you could argue that I guess it is good for the world because he has like a bunch of people who like the videos and who come away having their day be more enjoyable after watching his video. So it's kind of like very vague. Like her question is, it's just very vague and like it's hard to measure something like that. It's not really an objective measurement, so I don't know how you would.
Don't realize that they're the ones acting all crazy, and they try and pretend like everyone else is the problem. Going back to the situation with Ray, Thomas responded to her, saying, "Well, that could explain it. I didn't want to cause you any trouble. I just saw you posting that you worked on Ori, and I had no idea who you are. Since you're calling people names online, I thought it was important to inform people that you never actually worked for Moon Studios, and that you didn't ever directly engage with anyone at Moon. Always be nice to people, Ray, even those you disagree with." While some people were amused by his response there, other people seem like they're extremely upset by it. It's amazing how upset these people are, simply because this guy wanted to clarify.
So these comments are pretty interesting. I don't want you to cause any trouble, he says after inadvertently sending hordes of people to her page, who have done nothing but call her names and worse, lol. So he's saying sending hordes of people. In his comment, he never told anyone to go after her or like or anything. So I don't know how he can say sending hordes of people. He just responded to her. That's it. People going after her has nothing to do with him, really. You know, all he did was respond. So I would disagree with like this comment. This comment's just not accurate. She posted this month ago. Now you're wanting to inform people of what exactly. She never claimed to work for Moon Studios, only on Ori via her employment by Xbox. This is very disingenuous, and I personally be sure as a consumer to be wary of your products. That's weird. All he said was let me go back to. Yeah, he just said, I just saw you posting that you worked on Ori, and I had no idea who you were, who you are. Since you're calling people names online, I thought it was important to inform people that you never actually worked for Moon Studios and that you didn't actually directly engage with anyone at Moon. Always be nice to people, Ray, even those you disagree with. Yeah, he said something completely, like, non-controversial and just fine. Like, a completely non-controversial comment. I have no idea. Like, this person's just crazy. What does Zer do? If you believe any of this, you wouldn't be having this talk in DMs instead of trying to lead a harassment campaign with this unprofessional content. You shouldn't be disingenuous to people, Thomas, even people you disagree with. So I think that this kind of shows that the harassment campaign definition that they're using like makes no sense. But he responded to her in the most, in like the nicest, most uncontroversial way possible. He's saying you could be having this talk in DMs. Well, the thing is, her whole talk was like public, so why would he then like message her in DMs then? And he probably doesn't think it's like a big deal, like to just message her public. Like, what's the big deal? Why not message her publicly? I don't understand. Let's see. So she's into marketing that customers are wife beaters or clan members, while also been seen using very vulgar language like "suck my asshole." Yeah, I can see why studios don't want to be seen associating themselves with her. I haven't seen all the comments. I don't know. Maybe she did say this. Well, I mean, given the other thing she said, it wouldn't surprise me. Given the other thing she's saying, like, all the terrible ways she's like describing gamers and stuff. Any game that supports Grums ain't getting a cent out of me. Thanks for clearing that up. I don't think he said anything about Grums. Be nice to bigots. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people have some problems here.
To see because Ray went into protected mode. However, we can also see that Thomas responded to these ones saying, I thought the post was pretty clear and concise. By the way, you're not in the credits on any Ori games, so unless you changed your name at some point. Based off that context, we can presume that possibly Ray has an issue with the other response that Mahler made. And now, the most pathetic thing possible is happening. To no one's surprise, some of the corpo journalists from Kotaku are getting involved, quote tweeting Mahler's response and posting this article from 2022 from Kotaku that says, report Ori Studio accused of being oppressive, sexist workplace. Developers say Moon Studios' no BS policy gave founders license to bully and demean. Even if any of the accusations in that article are actually true, it's really gross how these journalists, well, drag this stuff up 2 years later, using the alleged victims in the article as their own personal army. Though it is painting a very clear picture. None of the people angry with Mahler seem to have any responsive merit. They're either just like seething in their responses, or reposting this. However, plenty of people would also further defend Mahler. For example, this response saying, it's always the same untalented, useless, lazy, hate-filled people that come crawling out of the woodwork at any opportunity to try and drag someone successful down. I hope he's not stupid enough to fall for it. If they make good games, people will buy them. Madam Savvy getting involved.
Wait, what was... Who was that referring to? I don't know who's referring.
I hope he's not stupid enough to fall for it. If they make good games, people will buy them.
Is it defending the Ori guy, or...
Madam Savvy getting involved, saying, was it oppressive because he said no once in a while to someone, given that she admits people don't get to choose how she represents
I'll just assume that was defending him. Given that she admits people don't get to choose how she represents them.
I see no reason for anyone to take anything she says seriously. She referencing the Kotaku journalist. However, someone would respond.
Yeah. Honestly, it is Kotaku.
To Savvy, saying, I mean, it's Kotaku, so take it with a...
Kotaku is like the most agenda-driven slop you've ever seen, so... Just from that alone, I wouldn't even believe the things they say.
Grain of salt. But if true, I think that's not a way to talk at the workplace, especially when you are CEO, including an image seemingly from the Kotaku article, to which Savvy responds, saying, this is the worst they have? That? Really? Not only is there zero context, but this is how people talk to each other when they're friends, too. The I really need a woman remark is probably from a string of jokes being made.
When Street Paper work track of the Sheridan report shows Corollo writing, nobody cares what you think really, followed by Mahler writing, oh, you're retarded. So it's not clear who the remarks are directed at. VentureBeat also reports that after one long meeting, Mahler concluded by typing, I really need a woman. Yeah, this is completely out of context, and no one, like what is this?
The other person retorts, saying, sure, friends. But truth is, there is no friends at work, especially if you're on the higher position than your supposed friends. Sure, not really a big deal, but still not a good look. And the current fire...
Yeah, I wouldn't want to work where that guy's working. I wouldn't want to work with that guy at all. No friends at work.
Final response in this conversation here from Savvy, saying...
Sounds like that's a that guy problem.
People will value those words accordingly. If that's a red flag for you, that's totally okay. For me, it isn't. I'd actually hate to work at a place that didn't use that kind of language. You can still have corpo structure mixed with friend structure, just so long as you have respect for who's in charge at the end of the day.
Agreed. Actually, I agree with her comment completely.
But everyone views workplaces different. So you saw this part, which is some of the evidence that they're trying to use against Mahler. However,
it kind of shows that they're really trying to pull anything to like try to tar and feather this guy.
There's also a little bit more than that. In this next section, they say that Mahler insisted on having the main character's origin story revolve around something very dark, and that allegedly Mahler wanted to do this to motivate the character to end up being a very cool character who does very cool things. And sure, that's a very dark and very terrible thing to happen to that character. It is just a character, though. And many characters throughout fiction have had equally bad or even worse things happen to them. I think
Yeah.
we can confidently say that these journalists would absolutely hate Berserk. And my gosh, I can only imagine what they'd say about my last Hearts of Iron 4 campaign. Anyways, it's pretty amusing how all of this started once again because Ray.
I mean, I don't see what's wrong. That has happened like throughout. Yeah, and I think it's fine if people like disagree that this should happen or not. Like, you know, it's just like I don't know if this would be good or bad for the story, but you know, it's just an idea he had. Well, whether it would improve the story or not, we don't know. Since I assume it didn't happen, but yeah.
Had equally bad or even worse things happen to them. I think we can confidently say that these journalists would absolutely hate Berserk. And my gosh, I can only imagine what they'd say about my last Hearts of Iron 4 campaign. Anyways, it's pretty amusing how all of this started once again because Ray wanted to make that giant unhinged rant. She just really wanted to defend DEI. Gotta defend those DEI consultation firms. Go figure that all of this would attract gaming journalists to run to her defense. Hopefully Ray will have some self-reflection while she's protected on Twitter and realize that all of this was really unnecessary and unhinged and, you know, there's no reason to act like this trying to bootlick for these consultation firms and all that. Maybe she'll actually turn a new leaf. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And as always, thank you.
Well, I doubt it. Highly doubt it. But yeah, this is something that you know is really gonna keep happening. She didn't really have to tweet anything. She could have just you know said nothing. Cause it's not like she was cause it was just to defend DEI. It had nothing like she wasn't involved at all. So she's just defending it for free. And yeah. She got exposed in 4K. But yeah, I guess that's it. Just want to see some comments. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. I will see you later then. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and all that.